we are being the worst team, maybe, in history of Manchester United. And I know that you want headlines, but I'm saying that because we have to acknowledge that and to change that. So here we go, your headlines.
Take it out of football, it is incredible, this statement. If you had a manager in Tesco or in NBC or in Sky that came out and said, I think we're the worst set of employees, worst team that we've ever had at Sky in their history, or worst team ever, they would be sacked immediately, that manager, wouldn't they? In any other industry.
Manchester United are in dark times. Even Rúben Amorim, one of the best coaches of the new wave, is shocked by what is happening. The theater of dreams is turning into one of the most depressing places in the world. Yeah, that's true. Things are so bad that Harry Maguire is bringing the Portuguese coach into the game. But as always, the sun will rise again over Old Trafford. How is that possible? The answer is simple and probably already tiresome for Manchester United fans. Rebuilding. Ruben Amorim is convinced that to build a new dominant force in English and European football, he needs 6 transfer windows.
To be honest, I don't know how much more of this I can take.
And the first of them was marked by the debut major transfer under the leadership of the Portuguese coach at his new club. Meet Patrick Dorgu. This 20-year-old Dane with Nigerian roots is something else. Just listen to what people say about him. A few years ago, Walter Mazzarri was coaching Napoli and he was looking for a wide player to play in his 3-5-2. I'd been watching some of the youth teams at international level and I had the perfect player for him. I talked to Napoli's sporting director at the time and recommended Gareth Bale to him. He started to scout him and liked what he saw. He went to have a chat with Tottenham. Then a few days later, Bale scored a hat-trick against Inter. He became an attacking player and was then unsellable. He could have been a fullback, but he has goals in him. This could happen to Dorgu. Or listen to this. Naturally a left-footed player, Dorgu has been deployed as a typical overlapping left back, as a left winger, as a left wing back, as a right back, and as a right winger when managers have wanted him to cut inside on his left foot and shoot on goal. There is some similarity with Bukayo Saka's emergence at left back for Arsenal before he evolved into the formidable right winger the Premier League knows today. And how about this? A bit like Theo Hernandez, although Dorgu is more attacking. He's an incredible player when you think he's only 20. He gets better with each day. He knows how to play in multiple positions, up front, at the back, on the right. I wouldn't be surprised to see him play in goal. All jokes aside, he's a very good player. Or even this. He can play a lot of positions, but we always had an idea that he would become a fullback or a wing back. He is a good fit for that position, but I do think he's a player who can cover a lot of positions. When he was a young player, I had a game where he played as a striker, he played as a midfielder, as a left winger, and as a fullback. So he is very flexible. That fits well with modern football. FC Nordsjælland technical director Alexander Rijad said, Patrick Dorgu, is he the new Gareth Bale, the new Bukayo Saka, or maybe the new Theo Hernandez? The most intriguing thing about Manchester United's newcomer is that you don't know how far he will go and who he will eventually become in world-class football. For example, the player himself says that his idols are Theo Hernandez and Alphonso Davies. These are the players he looks up to. Manchester United and Rúben Amorim have found a real gem in the transfer market, which will soon be recognized as a bargain. According to Fabrizio Romano, the Red Devils will pay 30 million euros plus 5 million euros in add-ons. Let's recall that Lecce once bought this talent from Danish Nordsjælland for only 200,000 euros, and this is one of the best deals in the history of this club. Manchester United won the race for Dorgu against clubs like Chelsea, Liverpool, and Barcelona. That's a big deal. The Italian club will get their money and try to reinvest it in strengthening the squad to stay in Serie A. Meanwhile, Amorim will get a player who perfectly fits into his system. After moving to Old Trafford, the Portuguese coach predictably switched the team to a 3-4-2-1 formation, but realized that the club lacked quality players. The tasks set for the matches were not being fulfilled. The team managed to earn only 14 points in Amorim's first 12 Premier League games. The rebuilding process begins with the transfer of Patrick Dorgu, who can cover multiple positions. Primarily the left wing-back position, United looks to the wings to hurt opponents. Only 23% of their attacks come through the middle, the joint lowest return in the Premier League, while 42% come down the left, the third highest in the division. Signing a left wing-back is key then, if they are to make the most of the chances down the side of the pitch, and there are few better suited to Amorim's demands than Dorgu. Luke Shaw has become injury-prone, Malacia turned into a transfer flop, Dalot alternates between good and disastrous matches. Mazraoui's best position is right wing-back, and Amad Diallo is much more effective as a right inside forward alongside Bruno Fernandes. Not many options when you break it down, so it's no surprise that Amorim made Dorgu's transfer a priority. In Lecce, Patrick is a multifunctional, versatile footballer who has played in 5 different positions even this season. Right winger, 10 matches, 3 goals. Left back, 7 matches, 1 assist. Left midfielder, 3 matches. Right back, 2 matches. And left winger, 1 match. Analyzing his positioning throughout his short career, we get the following results. Left back, 72 matches, 6 goals, 2 assists. Left midfielder, 15 matches, 3 goals. Right winger, 11 matches, 3 goals. Left winger, 6 matches. Right back, 3 matches. And right midfielder, 1 match. The only positions he hasn't tried yet are goalkeeper, center back, central midfielder, and striker. However, in youth football, he played everywhere except as a goalkeeper. Complete footballer. So even from this analysis, it becomes clear that Amorim is buying a player to cover the wing-back position in his 3-4-2-1 system. He specifically needs such versatile players who can perform on both the right and left flanks. With Dorgu, you can never guess which position he will play in at United. At Sporting Lisbon, Amorim used a very similar player as a right wing-back. 17-year-old Giovanni Quenda, left footer who feels comfortable on the right flank. And if we look at the heat map of our hero in this season's Serie A matches, it becomes clear where he feels most natural, the flanks, both right and left. Regarding defensive play, he is more comfortable on the left side. Here, he is much more effective in tackles. Modern football requires unconventional solutions, and given the current state of Manchester United, Amorim will need to rebuild the team from scratch and do so as creatively as possible to avoid overspending in the transfer market. Ineos is saving every pound. Patrick Dorgu, a future star in the making. His potential is incredible, but he still has a lot to learn and improve. The good news is that the Dane's profile perfectly matches what Amorim looks for in players. Full focus on football and a desire to develop, always improving himself and his game. This is Ruben Amorim's philosophy, and Dorgu should become just as exemplary a player for the coach as Amad Diallo. He doesn't like social media. Just look at his Instagram page, only 16 posts for a 20-year-old guy who is already successful in football. His hobby is playing football with his brothers and staying for a few extra hours after training to improve certain aspects of his game. He is hardly interested in PlayStation or spending time on the internet. In this regard, he is a real gem for Amorim, who has started fighting against socially active footballers like Marcus Rashford. Patrick is definitely coachable. He is a very good listener. He is not a guy who speaks a lot. He is quite silent, and you have to be a little patient when you're asking questions because he's a thinker, so he needs to get started before he's going to say something. But he is a very determined player. He has always focused on being better. A real football player, says Alexander Rijet. Moreover, Patrick meets one of Amorim's key requirements, which he has already instilled in the United players. You can win the Premier League with a team that doesn't run. You can assemble a starting lineup of the best players on the planet, but without running, they still won't win. We must run like mad dogs, otherwise we won't win. Dorgu is perfect in this regard. He will run as much as needed and exactly where the coach tells him to. He gets in the box, arrives for crosses, and that is linked to his physical capacity, which has definitely developed in recent years. But he has always been a good runner. He can cover a lot of distance and do it with high intensity. When he played for Nordsjælland, we got the reports from the trackers, and he was often one of those with the best and the highest physical numbers. Another competitive advantage of Dorgu is his almost complete absence of injuries. The guy is highly disciplined when it comes to his body. Routine, proper nutrition, and constant work on improving his physical attributes. Physically, he's an absolute football monster without a doubt. And Patrick is just a good guy. During his football vacations, he returns to the city of Farum, home to the love of his life, FC Nordsjælland, where he visits friends and plays football. In today's world, such old school guys are a rare find. He simply loves football. Maybe that's exactly what even the biggest stars sometimes lack to take the next step forward. So with this background, Patrick Dorgu arrives at Manchester United. The young multifunctional Dane must become the first brick in the team that has already been called the worst in the history of the legendary club. What are the chances of success? As we've understood, huge. Patrick Dorgu is a player Amorim loves and a player for Amorim's system. The main thing is for the Portuguese coach to be given time to implement his ideas. And for now, Patrick Dorgu is an important step toward forming the new United. From the worst squad in history to the best, we'll see. But this Danish boy's transfer looks intriguing. What will Amorim choose? To create a new Gareth Bale or an improved version of Theo Hernandez? Share your thoughts in the comments, like this video so other Manchester United fans can see it, and subscribe to our channel. The Island, the channel where you will learn a little more about English football. Goodbye.